It's always funny trying to do this on Zoom. Where is my desktop? Is that right? Okay. Are you seeing the flow and the code and everything?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so a recap. Where we left off yesterday is we had figured out how to create a customer, load the discount codes, and then return those. And I think we had hit a problem where we weren't getting our discount codes back. Is that right?
So we had a problem where we got data is not defined or whatever. We couldn't figure out where that was coming from.
That's right.
It was a very silly thing.
Oh, good.
As it normally is.
I prefer silly over difficult.
So we had rewritten this get customer codes, which previously was returning orders. It was get customer orders. And so with what we were logging in the resolvers, we were logging these orders, but what we were passing was the discount code information.
Oh, so it wasn't our code, it was our logging.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Well, well, I'm glad you're paying attention because I probably would have spent way longer than I should have trying to figure that out.
Well, so I actually figured that out accidentally because I was just revisiting some of this and I was rereading this earned codes stuff from return code status. And I realized that in mapping over the orders, we were only returning used codes because we were mapping over the orders and returning that. So I rewrote that to grab the used codes out of the orders and then filter for earned codes and then map the status of the code used or not.
Nice.
So that should be right now. And that's not, apparently I didn't get there, but.
All right, well, what do we have? So we've got
correctly used codes.
Oh, so we're getting it back. We're just not passing it back correctly, it looks like.
Yeah. But I had gotten it figured out where, you have that code and you've used it. You've earned level 2, which isn't a real code yet.
Right.
And you haven't used it.
Awesome. This is great.
So, yeah, that's where we are.
Okay, and so you logged used codes, and then you return that. Now, where are you logging the customer codes?
In the Git contributor.
Okay. So that makes sense then because we just haven't added the customer codes into the response.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll just go down in the return. And do you mind bumping up your font size just a bit?
No, I can't do that.
This is fine.
I can't. There's only so much I can do. Yeah, I've realized in this that I'm probably like low key ruining my eyesight.
I don't know. I like
all day, every day.
Yeah, I had a really odd situation where I just kind of realized that at one point I was leaned so far forward and I was squinting so hard at my laptop and I was like, okay, I'm not a kid anymore. I can't do the 10-point font. And so now all my fonts are like, it might look like I make my fonts bigger for presentation. Nah, that's just what my old man eyes have to look at all the time. Okay, so
That makes me feel young in a way, so
Yeah,
awesome.
good. I'm glad. I'm here to help. Okay, so did you add it to the return?
I did not.
Okay, so we have the codes on line 45.
Yeah.
So then in the return statement, we should be able to just add whatever the Shopify codes and just give it the codes. And I guess a smart thing to do would be to rename the customer codes variable on line 40 to
Yep.
Shopify codes
Yeah,
so that we're
that
being.
would be smart, wouldn't it? Oh, that was unnecessary. And I guess we don't. We can take out this logging.
Yeah, we know it works now, so we should.
Clean up after ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give that a shot. Okay, and then it looks like we're just not asking whether or not it's used in the query.
Boom.
Excellent. Okay, and this is all live, yeah? So we're no longer hard coding any data.
No, yeah.
So let's do a quick run through just to double check that when we're doing the get contributor call, all of that data is actually being returned live. So we start by, get the camera out of the way here. We start by doing 2 parallel calls, one to get the Prisma contributor and one to get the contributor info from GitHub. Once we have that, we check to see if there's a Prisma record. If there is not a Prisma record, we just return GitHub data. There are no additional calls. After that, assuming we do have a Prisma record, we load their used discount code, or we load the available Shopify codes using get customer codes. And that we do that by sending in their Shopify customer ID, which would be part of Prisma, and their total contributions, which comes from GitHub. And then at the end, we just put all of that into the right format and return it for use. Sweet. Okay. So this is pretty cool. And I think then what we want to do is, and we finish create customer. That one we know works. Let's test that again because I know we
for replacing the old Shopify? No.
well, so I do want to do that so that we can drop the rest. But what I'd actually like to do first is let's make sure that that new create customer mutation is still working because we refactored a couple things. We refactored the Prisma setup so that it would have like an ID and things like that, and then we refactored some Shopify stuff. So I just want to make sure that it still works if we create a new customer. And so I think it'll need to be a new GitHub username. You can use Sam. Do calc Sam. And
Well,
then,
what if he's used?
well, he won't be in our Prisma database.
That's true.
And then that email, yeah. And everything else should be fine. Okay, so it created a customer.
Oh,
Oh, but we did, yeah.
we're still hard coding that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also wouldn't want to return. No, that wouldn't pull.
Yeah, the Shopify codes should just be null, right? Or I guess an empty array. Because when we create a customer, there's no way they would have used. There's no way they would have used it.
Right.
Cool. So, yeah, and then we don't need to create another one because, well, maybe we should, just in case. Do you want to do one for Marissa?
Is it Marissa Morby?
Yeah.
See how I spell everyone's name right?
Okay, and so this is what we would expect is when somebody creates their customer. Oh, well, okay, but we would want to return Shopify codes because otherwise we'd have to create and then also retrieve. Because in this scenario, Marissa would still be qualified for the first level.
Yeah.
So we do want to make that call to get codes.
So none of them will be used, but it'll reflect the earned ones.
None of them will be used, but it'll reflect the earned ones. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we need.
I think you could just copy it straight out of the other one.
The get customer codes.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. I don't know if we're gonna have those.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll have the customer ID because we created the customer. We have the total contributions. Yeah, we should be good.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, then let's just do that. We'll need to change the accessor for that because it's not under contributor dot anymore.
Yeah. Now it's just.
It looks like it's
customer ID and total contributions.
Mm-hmm.
How's that for consistency? Sort of.
Excellent. Cool. And then I think we can probably clean up those console logs now.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let's try this one more time. Who's left? Let's add
who's left?
McCall.
Linda?
Yeah, we can add Linda. Did you save that, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't saved. I don't know what that is. What is her GitHub?
Linda Lee Bumblebee.
That's adorable. She definitely accepts marketing. I'm so not funny. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so this is good. So she qualifies. She's got 3 pull requests, so she qualifies for the discount code. It comes back, which means that now instead of having to do a create customer and then load customer, we can just create the customer and then use it as a get customer call because that'll be the result, which is going to cut down on our complexity there, which makes me very happy.
I was typing and I ignored you.
That kind of hurts my feelings, but that's okay. So what'll be nice about this is that instead of having to do a create customer and then a get customer call, you'll just be able to run create customer and then you'll get the customer back as if you had run get customer. So this is pretty slick because it's going to cut down on a lot of that complexity for us.
And we don't need to save this.
Right.
Because we're not using it anywhere.
Right. We do need, okay, so do we need, so thinking through our flow, so I think you're good to save that. And then I want to make sure that we've got functionality, and then I want to come back and tackle this like error handling stuff. So we need to, so when we get the customer, we're loading their orders every time, right?
Yes.
So we actually don't need an update orders. We just need, so that'll handle itself every time that somebody runs a get contributor. we're going to automatically get the latest count of contributions and the latest list of active orders.
Is there a better way to name this? Because if there is a record, if there's no record, it returns just the contributor info. If there is a record, then it returns the customer info.
Well, so the way that I'm thinking about this is that our API doesn't really distinguish between the two. Our API is returning like a contributor. So a repo contributor signs up, and when they sign up, we we basically just say like, yes, this contributor is Jay Lengstorf. And then if I qualify and I've signed up for it, then, now I'm Jay Lengstorf, and I'm also associated to this Shopify customer ID, and I'm also associated to like this number of pull requests.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think from the standpoint of our API, contributors are contributors. The underlying data is kind of, I would say, implementation details, not really something that needs to be obvious to the user.
Okay. Well, in that case, we just have a lot of weird naming going on.
We have a lot of weird naming going on.
Like get customer codes should probably be get contributor codes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would almost say like this to me is like get Shopify discount codes is probably the most accurate name, because that's really what we're doing. Or like get available Shopify discount codes.
Well, no, because available, some might be used or not used. I think that would be confusing.
We could just do get Shopify. Discount codes, yeah. Because then it's clear too that it's a particular kind of code, not a.
Yeah, I mean, we had some trouble coming back and reading this after not looking at it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely worth it to.
Yesterday.
Definitely worth it to do some refactoring here, just to make sure that this makes sense to human persons,
as opposed to other persons. I'm just making sure I'm clear.
Listen, it's been a long week. I'm tired.
I'm punchy because I canceled all my plans this weekend. I'm just gonna sleep off the rest of this cold.
Good. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. So let's think through this and see what needs to be done here. So we shouldn't need. Let's run through the flow real quick and just step through all the data that we're going to need and make sure that we actually do have it all. So when somebody logs in, we are going to. Can you go up a little bit? Okay. So they log in with GitHub and we run get contributor. And when we run get contributor, we'll see whether or not they've got a Prisma user. If they do, if they don't, then we're fine. We're going to show them the form and everything. That kind of turns into a UI concern. But we'll just return the GitHub username and their contribution count. So actually that's
wrong.
It is wrong.
Oh my God. What did I do? All right. Well, I'm not going to mess with that right now. This is just no account created.
Right. So that would be no account. So we would just remove the label on the. Okay. And then below that, where the open issues call is,
Hmm.
we would just need on, or I guess not on the open issues, but on the one next to it, the arrow, I guess, would just be
Oh,
like if contributions is greater than 0 or something.
no, because we're still messaging
So then we
how.
so then we would just need an extra one to show the form, I guess, like the because we only show the form.
Oh, yeah.
Or wait, hold on, because the claim form is right there. So we did this right, but we did this
Uh,
weird. So it's when we check their contributions, there actually just shouldn't be a branch at check contributions, because we're going to check contributions and then we check if the account exists, regardless of all of that.
that's more like this.
Right. And so then if if the account exists and they have contributions, then we would
Oh
present the
my
claim
God.
form. I believe in you. You're going to get there.
Hey, I'm there. Oh, is that? Yeah, okay. So account exists? No. Shop as a guest and
But then we need a decision tree there, because if the account exists and they have contributions, or if no account exists and they have contributions, then we need to present that claim form.
so this is actually
So that's all still correct, but the way that people get to that claim form is different. You could do like greater than 0 contributions, I guess.
I do words.
And then are we showing this? Because we would show open issues and the get swag for free to everyone, right? Or the get swag for free is only if you don't have contributions, because otherwise you'd see the claim form.
Right, because if you see the claim form, then you see the swag text associated with the form.
Right. Okay. And then in both cases, they would see the open issues. Or is that
Yeah.
not correct?
Well, that's kind of a we haven't really talked about that because
Okay.
if there's 0, then we want to show where they can contribute. If they're level 1, we want to show them issues that can contribute up to level 2. And if they're level 2, we just want to be like, hey, you can still.
Okay. Let's maybe punt on this, because this is like we already have the API call to do open issues, and we don't need to solve that in the API. So in the meantime, we've got the logic for 0 contributions or greater than 0 contributions if you're not logged in. That makes sense. That'll be handled in the UI as well. So if the account does exist, then we start doing more things. So we're going to check for orders. And this API call is actually not accurate anymore. So instead, this is just going to be like, it's just going to be get contributor.
No, that's going to be get codes because we've already gotten the contributor.
Yeah, because that happens, but that happens inside get contributor.
Yeah, you're right.
So I guess it's not really even a decision point anymore. It's just like a thing that's going to happen.
So that's already happened.
Mm-hmm. So if the account exists, then you just end up at. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So this makes sense to me. And then we can just drop that update Shopify orders because that's not actually happening. And then did we call it create customer or create contributor? Because that should be consistent.
Create customer.
Let's change that to create contributor.
Okay. So no. And this will be create contributor.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because the Prisma I'm always kind of conflicted when things are like duplicate named like that. Whether that makes it more clear or less clear.
Yeah. I mean, it in my mind, the Prisma part is like the core of what we're doing. And so the resolver for this mutation is just calling like Prisma's create contributor method. We're just doing additional logic because we've got data that is not managed in our databases. So that's the additional calls that we're doing. I'm also wondering, we should make this run async, like in parallel. So right now we're doing await create contributor, then await get contributor info, and then await get Shopify discount codes. If we promise.all these,
Yeah.
we can speed that up.
I'm just gonna. Okay, so we're wanting.
The first one you can just underscore to ignore.
Did it as you said it.
Yeah.
Okay. And can we do this?
Mm-hmm. Because we're in the middle of destructuring like an array, so all the same rules apply.
Will prettier save me? No, not really. Okay. So Prisma. I'm just gonna not get rid of that.
Yeah. Okay. And so this, I think, will give us a nice, yeah, because they're all, oh, wait. This isn't going to work.
Oh, because
we're relying on the total contributions. So we just need to pull that one out is all. The other two can stay in. And then you just got to drop it out of line 102. Okay, so that's cleaner. And then as an added bonus, I think we're going to have to check this, but I think we can just do a .catch on promise.all in case anything goes wrong, and that'll give us our error handling. Let me double check that real quick. So promise.all, does it have a catch?
Yeah.
Promise.all catch error. Oh, that is great. Okay. So then the next question is, in Apollo server, how do we get things into that server? What's the word I'm going for here? There's like an errors array that you get when a query goes wrong, and I think we just need to throw. Let's test by forcing it. Let's do in get contributor so that we don't have to keep adding things to the database. Let's throw an error and see if it just automatically goes into the errors array or if we have to do specific error management for that. So just throw like test error, like throw error, and then in parentheses any string you want. And it doesn't have to be new. I think I feel like this is where my like super nerdishness falls off. I don't actually know what the difference is between new error and just plain error, but I know that throw error seems to work. So let's try this and see if it gives us that error array or if it's going to do something different. So in get contributor, and it just gives us an error, which is good, I think. I mean, we could clean that up and drop the stack trace, I guess. How would we want to do that?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. GraphQL.
Let's see. I mean, the fact that it's available to the API seems kind of okay. But you know, I feel like that's good enough for now. Like this is an internal use API, and we just need to be able to know when things are wrong. So let's just do that. We'll just throw the error if we get one. So we can. Yeah, let's just throw that error message. So throw error.message.
Oh.
I think you still need to wrap it in an error, though. And so that shouldn't make any difference because we got all of that. But and all I'm really looking for is that it doesn't do like the mystery explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I think is, and it did throw in the get contributor, it did throw oops, right? Or did it throw something else? Error while loading. Oh, it didn't throw our error message. That's not good. Okay, let's get on the Google train. Let's find Apollo server error handling. And we've got that throws a system error. Okay. If we want to throw there are like specialty errors in Apollo.
Augmenting error details.
Yeah. So it looks like we would want to import. Does it show what the? Okay, so we can just pull in like Apollo error. It looks like, and you can pull an Apollo error from. Is that just in Apollo error?
Apollo error?
Yeah. Like it shows me. Well, if you go down a little bit on the page, there's this Apollo error class. They don't show where that is imported from, but I guess we can just give it a shot. Apollo server provides, yeah, okay, so it's going to provide that for us. So we can just pull that out, and instead of throwing an error, let's throw an Apollo error, and let's see if that shows up instead on get contributor. Well, that one too, but we want to do it on get contributor so that we can test it without having to create.
Was that linked to something?
And I think we can just throw a message.
Just send a message.
Yeah. And we have to import that from Apollo server. Let's do that at the top so that it's... that should be the one. Oh, maybe.
Is that what you're using?
Apollo Server Express. Yeah, I think that should. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. Did it? It did nothing.
Yeah.
Is something happening in the...
Replying error in handler? You know what? I'm just gonna do that again.
Module build failed. Duplicate declaration underscore. Oh, I know why this happened. It's in the mutation where we did the promise.all.
Mm-hmm.
We already had the underscore for root, so we just make that a double underscore.
Can't we just leave that blank?
I mean, no. Yeah, so this is just because we have...
Remembering that.
I guess the other thing, well, how else would we do that? The other way we could do that is we could take the... No, we'd still have to... Let me think. If we swap the order of the arguments in promise.all, then I guess we could just ignore anything after the first, and that should work. So like you would just take the Prisma create contributor and put it after the get contributor info. And then that should work.
And just leave this off here.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Now we have nothing.
Okay, did it... in get contributor...
No, I ran it and I'm not seeing anything log.
Not seeing anything.
Oh, there. Yeah, okay.
Replying error in handler. Create contributor defined...
Oh, because we had create customer.
Aha.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And let's also update those. Yeah, that'll be great.
And then do we have to do Prisma?
No, because this isn't Prisma. I think it might just work. We can give that a shot. We might have to stop and start it. I don't remember what it does when the class Apollo error cannot be invoked without new. Okay, we're making progress here.
Oops.
All right. Okay, so that's perfect. I think we can call that good enough. So anywhere where we get an error, we can just pass that through, and we'll do it by throwing a new Apollo error. And so in all the spots where we've got the error handling, we'll just do that in the on line 112 there.
Yeah.
And we can just, I think, just throw the, well, let's just throw the error dot message.
Okay, so
Up
do we
there.
want to give it that input?
Say again.
Do we want to give it that input and see what it does?
Yeah. I mean, the hard part here, yeah, let's do it. So let's just try running it with what we've already created, because it should fail there because we've already created for that customer. So that should be a duplicate record, and that should give us an error.
Oh, is this still named?
You'll just have to reload it to get it to pick up the new schema.
My dog is very excited.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So now we get back cannot read property ID of null, which is what was happening before. We should definitely make these errors better. And we can decide if we want to do that today. Let's add a to-do there that will do a little more like
here.
Yeah, just I would say like, because we want to check if the GitHub call fails, we want to do that because there's a potential that if this were to get hammered, we might have a rate limit problem. So that could cause a temporary failure. If we got a duplicate entry or things like that, we would want to be able to surface that, because it's not a very helpful error right now. So so for now we should do that for sure. But let's look at the rest of our to-dos, because I saw there are a couple around.
I think there are a couple that are already taken care of.
We'll need to return level. That doesn't need to be done anymore. So this whole discount code thing is deprecated now. So we can go into our schema and we can just do on line 31 there. Yeah, just at the end of it, you can just add an at deprecated behind discount code. And then in parentheses, I think, let me, how do we do deprecation? It's, schema directives. So there's default directives, and we add a reason. And yeah, colon, and then we just put any explanation there. And so what we'll say instead is use, so in double quotes, like use create contributor instead. Yeah. And so now that'll continue to work, but it's now going to be obvious that it's not the right thing. And if you save and reload your playground, actually look at your playground before you reload. You see now how it shows discount code. So go ahead and reload. and now it doesn't show anymore. But there, and it's still,
But it won't break anything.
it won't break anything, and I think you can still find it if you like search for discount code. Yeah, so it still shows it, and then if we click into it, I think it'll give you a deprecation reason. No, it doesn't. Huh? Maybe that's a playground thing. I thought it would show it, but either way, it just kind of like removes it from the top level docs without actually breaking the API, which is another thing that I just absolutely love about GraphQL, is that that's kind of a built-in feature of the language. And then I think we also want to deprecate contributor information, but let's look at that real quick and see what that one does to make sure that we're not total contributions and pull requests. And, or hold on, that's the return type. So let's go up to the query.
Oh, okay.
And so the contributor information returns contributor information. Get contributor also returns contributor information, right? No, it just returns contributor. And then what does contributor return?
Well, contributor information. I can spell. Is total contributions
and then pull requests.
So
that's not going to be deprecated. We're still going to need that.
Are we? I don't remember seeing this. Are we differentiating between merged and open?
Yes.
Or no, these are just about the actual pull request. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, so this does differentiate. So this is from this isn't part of this project. That's been there since before.
Yeah. But we show the information about which pull requests have been merged, the title and information.
Yeah. Probably not today, but it seems to me like it would make sense to put the pull requests into contributor and then deprecate this, don't you? Because we've got the GitHub pull request count, and we could just do GitHub pull requests and add that pull request info, and then we wouldn't have to have two endpoints for this. We'd just be able to do the single load. Because right now, what's going to have to happen to show their pull requests on the dashboard, which we may not do in the new UI, it kind of depends. But if we're going to do that, then right now we would require two requests. Or one query that calls both of these endpoints, which is kind of a bunch of duplicate effort on the server side. So
yeah. I don't see a reason why we would ever need them to be separated.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, and it's like a smaller API surface. If basically all you can do is create a contributor or load a contributor, that kind of seems like the right.
And we're loading that whether someone has opted in to create an account or not.
Right, because we're going to get the GitHub data either way. Because there's no way that we'll ever make this call if they haven't logged in with GitHub. So yeah, let's go ahead and refactor it. It seems to me like this should be fixed. So what we'll want to do is extend that contributor type with pull requests. And maybe we do GitHub pull requests just to make sure, since we've kind of adopted a pattern of prefixing. And then that'll be the same as line 65. And probably group those just because. Cool. Now we got to go back into the resolvers and make sure that that data actually exists. And I believe all that logic should already be there in the get. What is it? Get contributor info? Is that what we called it? Contributor information, which is just get contributor info, which means that we're literally already getting this information, because in get contributor we call get contributor info, and then we only pull parts of it. So we can, it's on line 29 in get contributor. So we're already returning the pull requests. We just got to include them.
Okay. So we just need to add it here.
Mm-hmm. That was a pleasantly convenient.
And what?
Dot pull requests. Okay, let's give that a test. And so we'll have to actually add the query for it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You might have to refresh to get the updated schema. And that's yeah, do the option, yeah. Labels need subfields.
Oh. Shot myself in the foot with that one. Oh, is it because...
Null for non-nullable fields.
It's because I did this.
Yeah, but that should definitely not be null, but let's see what happens. Go ahead and, because I have pull requests, so we're missing, something didn't work. So
it's because we're
passing in the GitHub username, and then in this case we just return it straight out.
Mm-hmm.
Here we've got GitHub pull requests. Oh, I see what we did. We added it for the if there's no account on line 37, but we didn't add it to the final return.
Awesome.
It seems like we should probably dry this out a little bit too, because it feels...
Yeah, we should probably just create something that has this info and then just spread it into here.
I would agree with that. That seems like the right approach. Let's make sure this works, and then let's come back and clean it up.
Let's log what we're getting. Oh.
GitHub username. Oh, we spelled pull request wrong. That's why. On line 37 and 51.
Oh, man.
Aha.
All right.
Okay. And apparently I haven't labeled any of my... Okay, so some of them are labeled.
Some of them are, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So good deal. Let's clean that up a little bit, make it a little more...
I just don't want to see most of that when we test this.
Sure. Okay.
do this.
So I would say what we can do is we can just we can create a like GitHub info and just create that. Create that object.
Friday typing. GitHub info. Otherwise, and this, the GitHub username is part of contributor.
Right, and so that's okay. What we can do is just spread the GitHub info either before or after the contributor, and the GitHub username will just override. But that's okay because they're both the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just delete the Whoops.
Ooh. Broke something.
Ooh, we broke that real bad.
That's fun. Service
We must be...
Service temporarily unavailable.
That's a different error. Do you want to just try running it again?
It didn't make that
better. Okay. Let's see. GitHub info, contributor, Shopify codes. Let's do a .catch on the promise.all and add that throw new Apollo error thing.
Oh, yeah.
You probably,
Yeah.
Let's give that a shot. I'm wondering if it's we may have gotten rate limited by GitHub, or we may have hit a.
Well, it said, from what I can see, this says 503.
Right,
service.
And I don't know if that's coming from Prisma or from
GitHub.
From GitHub, from Shopify. So I'm hoping that. Did you run it just now?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you ran it just now, then it's maybe coming from wrap the Shopify codes in a try catch, and let's do the same thing.
This?
Yeah.
All right.
And it's going to be a little bit different. So no dot, and then instead of an arrow function, it'll just be a regular function. So catch error, and then so it'll catch the error in parentheses. So like a function call. So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll just exactly like that. So let's give that a shot. Maybe it's Shopify is down. Oh shit though, because now the Shopify codes are out of scope.
Oh yeah.
That's annoying. I guess what we can do is just do the return inside the try. So line 55 to 60 can just move up under line 49 there. Oh, and now the service is back. But that is good because everything seems to have worked as expected. So good deal. So you can drop that stuff at the bottom.
Drop this
Mm-hmm.
and just leave it that way.
Yeah, I mean the try catch is probably good error handling anyways, just to see in case something goes wrong with get Shopify discount codes.
Mm-hmm.
To appease my twitchiness, let's add a line after 44. And I think I want to make that error handling a little bit cleaner, but ultimately I'm pretty happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see, what other to-dos do we have in place here?
This return level we don't need, or well, I can just
we've deprecated this method, so we really don't need it anymore. The contributor information is also deprecated, so let's deprecate that in the schema.
Okay. And that was.
In the query.
I'm just grabbing this.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's after here.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna use get contributor instead. Cool.
All right. Just looking back at to-dos. We're not going to end up needing this file anymore.
Actually,
actually wrong. That's
let's fix that so that we can get rid of that file. Because what I'd love to do is drop the REST-based one out of the code base entirely. And I'm fairly certain that all we need to do to make that happen is make sure that we're getting the right info into create Shopify customer REST. And so if we look at that one, we send in user, first name, email, subscribe. And then in the other create Shopify customer, we send in
username. Well, GitHub username.
Yeah. So all we would actually need to do is change this to be create Shopify customer and pass in these keys instead of the ones that are there. So we would just change like line 89 instead of username would be GitHub username to match them all up.
Okay, I see. And then just drop REST. So this can be just GitHub username. First name.
Email, and then we need to change that subscribe to, but it still needs to be subscribed or we need to rename it up there somewhere. Like the key is accepts marketing.
Oh, yeah.
But the value would be subscribed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's fine. And that way we can drop the rest altogether. So let's do.
Well, this is in discount code.
Right. So what we're doing is we're just under the hood, like discount code itself won't change, but the under the hood we're using a different call to fulfill the same thing. Now the catch to that is that I believe the REST-based call had better fallbacks for if there was a duplicate customer or something. And so that's something that we do need to figure out is if the customer already exists, but their contribution count has crossed the next threshold, how are we adding that tag to their username?
In Shopify?
Mm-hmm. And so we'll need to look that up in the Shopify GraphQL API, because we'll have to, we need to update the customer.
That's the admin API.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tags. Tags add.
Maybe, yeah.
Add tags to a taggable object.
Cool.
I'm guessing taggable object is the user object in this case.
Add tags to a taggable object. So you set any ID, and then you set tags. What can the ID? Okay. I don't know how to. What about customer update? That might be more straightforward.
Update the customer's attributes. Customer input. Tags.
So maybe that's a better. Maybe that's a better way to approach that. Or I mean, I don't know. Maybe the ID thing is like the add tag, and then we just put in the customer's ID. Or tags add.
I'm just keeping both open.
Yeah. Because that is nice and straightforward if it works.
Yeah.
Does it say anything about, down in the arguments, does it say whether or not the tags like override? No, of course not. There's no information whatsoever. Shit. Well, I guess we can just try it, see what it does.
All right.
Yeah, let's just give it a shot. Let's how much time do we have? We have exactly 30 minutes. Should we put this down as a to-do and come back to it and like do cleanup, or we can also just commit what we got and call it a day? I'm a little concerned that this is going to take us.
I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's commit what we got. Let's stop here. Will you add a to-do in the Shopify thing that we need to add an add tags? Yeah, and maybe just include the links to those docs pages that we found so that we can just jump back to where we were. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think this is good. Let's save it up. Let's call it a day.
This live streaming stuff is hard to get used to. By the time you're done with it, I don't even know what commit message to write.
Well, so today we did we finished the create customer and create customer and like code cleanup.
Contributor.
Yes, that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, cool. So let's maybe revisit this next week. I don't know what day yet. We can figure that out on Monday, but let's
Yeah.
see if we can get this wrapped. So I think our last to-dos then are updating customers, and we'll have to figure out where that goes in the. So we actually need to update the we do need to update contributors, but the update contributor just needs to be add tags if necessary, because
And then the pull request count.
well, the pull request count doesn't really need to be updated anywhere. We just grab that as part of the get contributor flow.
Yeah.
What we have to do though is if they, so like right now we're saying like, hey, you've got more than 5 pull requests, you qualify for this discount code. But until we've added a tag to their Shopify customer account, they won't actually be able to use that discount code because Shopify would say you're not qualified for it. So as part of that check, and I don't want to do that as part of get contributor because then that would make it a mutation. So we would basically need a maybe we should just think about this in the next stream, because we got to think about, do we want to keep track of the pull request counts that were there last time so that we know when it's time to do a tag update, or should we just do the tag update every time? Like if they're missing a tag and they qualify for it, then do the thing. That, in saying that out loud, that's what we should do. If they qualify for a discount code and they don't have that tag because we got that back with their Shopify customer thing, then we'll have to update that. Yeah. And we'll just need to think through exactly what that logic looks like, because it's going to be, we'll have to fix it in create customer, because I think right now we're just adding tags hard coded. Or no, we're adding them properly. Like when we create the customer, if they have the right number of contributions, that's good. We should clean that up though, because this is like filthy. That should be tied to the discount codes. So we need to have a thing that shows the number of pull requests required, the discount code that the contributor would use, and the tag that needs to be attached to the Shopify customer. That should all be managed in one place so that we don't lose it, which probably means setting up like a constants file or something. And then we'll just need to come in here and clean that up as well. And then in the tags thing, kind of the same deal. Like if they meet the qualification but they don't have the tag, then we need to go through and do that work. But that means that we need to do a lookup in Shopify for the customer so that we can get what tags are actually associated with it. So all sorts of fun, good times that we're going to have to figure out.
More things. Also, I've still been, there has to be like a gamer term for like, you have 10 points until the next level, like 10 experience points or whatever, like the whole threshold thing. There's definitely like a word for that I just can't remember right now. That's actually been bothering me since yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody watching this has an idea, please share, because I have no ideas and threshold feels not great. And everything else I can think of is like 8 words long. So
I mean, that's such a core, like, not that I'm a gamer, but I would think that's such a core gaming thing. There has to be some.
well, I always thought it was just like XP, but that's not exactly what we're doing here.
Well, our XP is pull requests.
I guess that's true. I mean, we are kind of doing XP in that sense.
Yeah, but the bar to meet, or the level to meet to advance. There has to be a word for that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
No,
that's
that
that's a
makes
later
sense.
problem.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've gotten about as far as we're going to get today. So
Yeah.
let's shut down. Enjoy your weekend. I hope you get some rest and get over your cold. And
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep it off.
all right. And we'll set a time next week to wrap this up.
Cool.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too. Have a good weekend.